Hello, my Juicy Co-creators. Lilou here in beautiful Venice in California with David, an artist. I've seen his sacred geometry on the side of the road and I just had to stop. This is amazing.
Isn't it?
You are luminous.
Thank you.
I love you. Thank you. I just love those unplanned events in our life and just following our heart. Just we were walking here and this was not planned and I just felt connected. I just came out of the John Valo Melchizedek training on the flower of life and everything. And here you are. What is your story? I know there's a special story behind this man. I want to hear all about it. I get that you're doing some broadcasts on YouTube and you love sharing your wisdom. You wrote some books that you self-published and you have here amongst the arts, and there's a lot going on. And you went through a radical awakening. Can we say in '93 something happened?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us more. I want to hear all about it.
Okay, so I went into the desert to have a conversation with the universe and paint my brains out. And within the first 3 to 5 days, I started to experience what I later came to call a spiritual acceleration, where I was in a state of bliss 24 hours a day for nearly 3 months.
Nice. You're one of the lucky ones that just had to experience that. No, because we're doing it step by step, and sometimes it's a little long. You just had to experience that.
You know, these things are all by agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Soul contract?
Exactly.
Yeah. So your soul this was supposed to happen on that day.
Exactly. I mean, there had been experiences before that. I mean, I came to consciousness when I was about 4, and, you know, continuously conscious from that point on. And there were, you know, certain points along the way where I had to, you know, go into the wilderness. And, you know, like one time I hitchhiked down into Mexico, down the Baja Peninsula. And when I started, I wasn't intending to hitch into Mexico. I just started because I needed to have a conversation with the universe. So I just started heading south, and I didn't care if it was in the States or whatever. So I ended up hitchhiking down about 200 miles till I found a beach I could run around naked on and have this conversation with the universe. And I just happened, because it took 5 days for me to get there. I ended up fasting for 8 days, and, you know, the first, I think, 2 or 3 days I didn't have any water or anything like that. But it wasn't an issue because I was focused on the mission, you know, which was to, you know, get more in alignment with what my true life purpose was.
And how do you describe this connection that you have with this universe? How do you describe even a conversation with this universe? How would you, I know you paint it, but how would you describe it in words?
It's like breathing and in gratitude. You know, I think gratitude for a lot of people is a big word. And when you feel gratitude in your body, it's goosebumps, right? I mean, when you really get into that place of, isn't it friggin' amazing that we're standing here, that we're breathing, that we're in this universe, and that all the lives our life touches, you know, benefit from just that moment of us, you know, when we connect with the center of the universe, within everything, within everyone, you know. And that's what's amazing about the flower of life, you know, that there isn't anything in the universe that isn't the flower of life, you know, and that the active ingredient in the universe, of the universe, by the universe, and everything is consciousness, infinite love, absolute truth, everlasting, immortal life. I think it's the secret that probably the best kept secret of all on this planet right now is that we're immortal.
That's my drums.
Yeah, really. That we're immortal. That we live forever. Mm-hmm. That we are the extraterrestrials, and that we came from someplace before we arrived on this planet, and when we die, we aren't dead. You know, that we return to where we came from. You know,
I had to tell you not to go on your spaceship when I left to get my camera. He laughed. Like, okay, we're connecting. No, this is it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the great secret. And, you know, I've spent the past couple of years meditating on what is really going on here. I mean,
What is going on, David? Tell us.
what is really going on here? You know?
What is this illusion that we're living in?
Exactly, exactly. Well, the good thing is that you know that it's an illusion.
Yeah, well, sometimes it doesn't make it easier, but yes, I am aware.
Right. Well, you know what's really been answering that question for me is studying astral projection. You know, I about it last year I had probably about 4 or 5 situations where people were dealing with their mortality. Some people left the world, and some people were able to remain. But I was, helping, like with a couple of people, with hospice and that kind of thing. And you really get a chance. I spent time in a hospice unit with a friend of mine that was dying of cancer. The person I learned astrology from passed from brain cancer, brain tumors last year. It'll be a year next week, and so I spent a week and a half with him in that place. And it's an 8-bed unit, and there was a turnover. Luckily he got kicked out for getting better while I was there. I mean, he eventually passed a few months later, but at the time, I mean, so I got to see and be in that place of death, and look into death, and see it, as close as I care to, and not go through it myself, And in that process, I was, brought to an understanding of, the universe just took me by the hand. That's my daily prayer is, take me by the hand and walk me down the path that you would have me walk, that I might be the best version of myself in this lifetime, And so I asked, you ask a question like that of the universe every morning before your feet hit the floor, and you're going to get an answer. You know what I mean? And so I asked, like, what's really going on here, and I asked for answers, because let's face it, the world is if you just walk through the world, it looks pretty messed up. I mean, you see a lot, especially on Venice.
Make sure you don't go back. Come here, David. Right. Come closer.
On Venice Beach, you see it all, And I've been setting up out here since 1989. Wow. I actually came here to do this because I saw that this was the perfect place for what I do, For
bringing your light.
Well, I wanted to paint my brains out. I wanted to share with the world. I love to paint in public. And it was, the perfect venue. You have the ocean, you have the mountains, you have, all those thousands of people walking by, checking out your stuff. I mean, this is the world stage, You never know who you're talking to. You never know where that might lead, case in point, right? So
it's fun.
So last year, I started to get some answer to that question of like what's really going on here, and part of it was through looking into death and looking at people's passing and considering my own passing. My mother had passed a couple of years ago, and I was her primary caregiver the last 2 weeks of her life. And she was the first person I'd ever seen die. I mean, I'd never seen anybody actually leave the body before, and then I got to see her, and it was easily the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Do you think we actually die as we have lived?
By that, what do you mean?
I see some people that are really afraid and are afraid to die, and like everything comes up in that moment, in that passage, in that transition. Like a lot of things seems to come up for people, and some people die very serenely, but this is how their life was, it very much in touch with love and God.
Yeah, I have to say, I can't answer that question, really. I can't say that we die as we live. That's because it's not my place. I mean, I know that every person will, in their own time and in their own way, face that moment, and I can't judge them. I can't say how that's going to happen for them, because there are some people that you would think, oh, they've got it all lined up, they've got all this stuff, and in the moment they're something else comes up. The reason why all that stuff comes up is it's your last chance before you leave the room.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Apart from sudden death, and that's why we're not talking about here. You were,
Yeah. I mean, there were some of those people were sudden death, but like there was a brother here that died. He was 40 something, for early 40s. He went to dinner with a really in good shape and everything like that. Went to dinner with a girlfriend, had a little indigestion. By after dinner, went to bed, didn't wake up. There's a guy that set up in this spot, an artist. He was in his late 20s, early 30s, full of life, an incredible artist. Always had like a line of people around here, right? He went to sleep, didn't wake up. No and they don't know why. He wasn't into drugs or anything like that. There was no reason or excuse. It was just his time to go. I say this.
Yes. Why do you say this? Yes.
The reason I'm bringing this up is that death is only one way for us to transcend the dimensions. The earth plane is just one dimension. We have this is our spacesuit, right? For this plane of existence, right? And at the same time, we have a spacesuit for all the other planes as well. At the same time, within this one, but what's in all of those spacesuits is consciousness, is our infinite, immortal consciousness, right? And we at any time have permission to access that awareness, right? Most of us don't, because the birth process is the incarnational process, is a process that it is inherently forgetful. An inherent component of the experience is to forget who you really are and where it is you really come from and why it is you chose to come to Earth, right? And for some reason, that really serves what happens here. And there are some people whose job it is to remember. And there are most people that's not their focus. They don't need to know that. And in fact, in order for some people to fulfill their mission in this life, they can't know their immortal nature. In order for them to do what they have to do here, they have to, take on the illusion and embrace the illusion. Because that was part of their agreement, So enlightenment is not for every soul in every lifetime, right?
And we have the possibility for the ones that want, you're saying, to experience different planes. So how do you do that?
Okay, there are a number of different ways. One is daydreaming.
I do that all the time without even.
Exactly. One you can daydream. When you daydream, when you seriously daydream to the point where you forget that you're where you are and where you're standing and everything like that, where the heck do you think you went? Exactly. Thoughts are real things. That's a basic principle of metaphysics, is that thoughts are real things. Everything is energy. There's only one energy in the universe, and it's infinite, ever-present, almighty, conscious love. All right?
I'm aligned.
Right.
So the same. We're resonating.
Yeah, we're resonating over here.
He's making fun of my accent. Oh my god.
No, I'm not. I'm not making fun. I'm making fun, but I'm not making
having fun.
You.
Yeah, you're having fun.
Cool. So
Stay here, my little camera. Yes.
there we go. Okay. So
how do we do that? So there's daydreaming is one.
Daydreaming. Everybody goes out of their body every day when they go to sleep, even if it's only for an inch.
Do you see dreaming? Do you do that?
Dreaming? Oh yeah, definitely. I'm conscious in my sleep. Yeah.
Cool. You changed the little scenario right in there. You remember it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've been doing that ever since I was a kid. So everybody goes out of their body every day.
Out of body experience?
Yes, that's astral projection, astral journeying, whatever you want to call it.
Do you go in a Merkaba or in something, or you just go there?
You are a Merkaba. You are made of Merkabas. Okay, there isn't any part of you that can exist unless it is a Merkaba. The term means light, spirit, body, right?
Vehicle too.
Vehicle, if you're into driving, yep.
spaceship?
Spaceships. You very into spaceships. And here's another funky New Age term that gets a little overused, which is portals.
Portals.
Everything's a portal.
Taurus.
Taurus is real big these days. Yeah.
We're gonna compare notes here.
It's all yummy. It's all yummy. Right. So
You
imagine
go through portals with your Merkaba inside inside your Taurus.
Yeah. Imagine that a portal of portals, right? That the universe is every scintilla of space, time, and matter is a portal, right? And so how do you not lose yourself in that? But
How do you come back?
consciousness, right? Because imagination. Another way that you can, what did you say before? Transcend. You can leave your body or whatever. Okay, and pass between dimensions is through creative visualization. Okay, as an infinite immortal being, you have permission to access the Akashic record, to travel to the edges of the universe and beyond, because you can, right? But
Our birthright.
exactly before birth. Okay, before birthright. Yeah, right. Crazy.
It's the soul contract. I mean, it's part of just what we're equipped with. So the Merkaba, we don't have to worry about it.
No, definitely not. And
What do we need to do? So what is the conscious practice then to access this consciousness? What can we do consciously to actually travel, to do all these things, and actually why would we do it?
okay, the only people that are going to be watching this are people that are on the cusp, right? They're people who part of their agreement, is to actually help in this world and in this life, and they're ready to awaken to what it is that they chose.
That's what we're all about.
Right.
We're all yes.
Right.
This is why this interview is taking place too.
Because for most people, I'm invisible, and so are you.
Sweet.
Right? I mean, on this boardwalk, most people don't see me or the work. All right? Only the people that are prepared for that see the work.
I like hearing that. Oh my God, this is getting good.
Right?
I like my dream. I'm dreaming. I'm inside the dream of the dream.
Exactly. So we're here because we agreed to be here. I like to say that there's the old joke. There's two kinds of people in the world, right? There's those that divide the world up into two kinds of people and those that don't. But I like to take it a little further. Okay, there's two kinds of people in the world. There are those that are just here, and there are those that came here to help. And the people that are watching this are watching this because they know that they came here to help. So it's incumbent upon us, if you really want to help, the most important thing that any one of us can do is to remember who we really are, where we really come from, and why it is we chose to come to Earth. Who we really are is infinite immortal children of the light. Where we really come from is the source within, 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 right? And why it is we chose to come to Earth is to remember who we really are, where we really come from, and why it is we chose to come to Earth, and then remind everybody else around us of who they really are by modeling it.
And how do you deal then with people that are? Do you ever talk to people that are not in alignment with this, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" How do you deal with this kind of the people that are not seeing this? Or are you just not bumping into them and not having conversation?
I interact with people that are choosing ignorance all the time, okay? One thing I can't help but, and it's so much fun.
You can't help it. I can see that.
It's so much fun to see them as immortals anyway, because when you see them as immortals, you empower them, and you recognize also that they're doing what they're doing by agreement as well, okay? And the fact that they're I recognize myself as kind of a cosmic agent in that everybody is a cosmic agent, right? So if they're encountering me, school is in, okay?
There's no mistake.
No. And so a lot of people have chosen, a lot of souls have chosen to just be here, to forget their purpose and whatnot as a game, right? They want to be on vacation, and that's cool, all right? No judgment. We don't actually need them to remember anything. They don't need to do anything. They can just go on about their business because it only takes a critical mass of conscious souls to trigger that, what is it called? The Maharishi effect, where you...
The 100 monkeys.
Yeah, that whole,
I prefer the 100 monkeys than the Maharishi, if that's okay.
But you know what I'm
I
saying?
had my little encounters.
There's the jargon, but we know what we're talking about. All we need to do is reach a critical mass of conscious souls on the planet, and we're going to, it's going to affect the collective human unconscious anyway, okay? And the information that I've been getting to lately is that the day that I was born, there were 2.8 billion souls incarnate. That was August 26, 1957. As of a week ago Tuesday, there's now 7.29 billion souls incarnate. So the number is more than doubled in 57 years, all right? And there isn't a soul on this planet that's in charge of that or that's driving that, okay? This is totally being driven from the other side. Now, there's not like a soul factory someplace where souls are being generated, Every one of those incarnations, every one of these people that are on the planet right now is self-conscious. They're aware of the fact that they're here.
Yeah, on the soul level.
In terms of selfishness, everybody is selfish. In the good way, in that everybody's you can't walk unless you're, and get up in the morning and all that kind of stuff unless you're conscious of the fact that you're the one that's getting up. So everybody at least is on that, is got that going on, and so this number is growing, and it's going to grow. I mean, it's projected to be 9 billion by 2025, barring the unforeseen, and over 10 billion by 2050. And where are they coming from? Excuse me, brother. Thank you.
No pictures of the art.
Where are they?
Little apprenticeship, but that's nice.
Without permission, no. Little conscious.
And you just did it from love.
Yeah.
No, it's great. This is part of the...
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the virtues of selfishness. Isn't that Alan Watts, one of Alan Watts' book, The Virtues of Selfishness?
It can be. Yeah, it could be.
Or is it, what's her name? Ayn Rand, something about selfishness. But the point is that, selfishness is the beginning, of being self-aware. Right, the beginning of consciousness, the beginning of realizing the bigger picture. The universe realizes we have to start somewhere, so let them start with these. I like that. There's this give them a solar system that should keep them busy for a while. So
put the secret in their hearts and let them find the key to open that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the heart, because I've seen all these hearts on your paintings, huh? Not just the flower of life. What is that? What do you see there?
What do you see there?
A big portal.
Okay, a big portal, right. Well, I like to say that my body of work is the book of mirrors. Whatever you bring to the party is what you're meant to see. Right? Yeah.
So where do you take, was there some other things, because I know there's so much, this conversation can go on forever, but is there some things that are really important for you to share right now, like as far as where we're at in time, in this, where do you think we're at? A lot of people make projections as to where we're at, and a lot of people are waking up around the world, all around the world. I'm witnessing it. So do you have a message about that?
Sure. So one of the things that I've recently in the research have been coming to realize is, there's that 7.23 or 29 billion souls. A fair number of them have never been here before, and there's a reason for that. They came straight from one of the things I should.
No karma.
Right. One of the things I should probably tell you is that um, I started accessing the Akashic Record through the use of a creative visualization back in 1996, 97, right?
Shakti Gawain, no?
What?
Shakti Gawain. I remember her writing this book, and
No. It was a book written by this brother named Gary Bonnell called, I think it's called Accessing the Akashic Record and Your Book of Life. And I met him. I was helping to do astrology readings at the Whole Life Expo in Atlanta, Georgia in the fall of '96. And he had a booth where he was hawking his book. And what stopped me was, like you, I saw these images that he had on the wall that were the mixture of all these different, classic iconography, pyramids and eyes and Mayan this and all these different stuff, but it was all mixed together. I'm like, where is this coming from? And we struck up a conversation, and he told me that he had been accessing the Akashic Record since he was 8 years old, and that he wrote this book. And in this book there are 6 scripts, 3 for accessing the Akashic Record and 3 for accessing your Book of Life. The Book of Life is, imagine that before you were born, you wrote your life story, okay? And the Akashic Record is the entire history of the universe, past, present, and future. And as an infinite immortal child of the light, you have permission, One of the
we do that too, don't we?
one of the messages I've learned that I need to give people is that we all have permission, and that one of the most important things you can do for yourself in this life is to give yourself permission. 1, permission to remember. 2, permission to show up. 3, permission to love.
4, permission to receive.
Oh,
I just hit a big one right there.
yeah. Permission to practice compassion on oneself first.
Permission to permission to travel through space.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you don't
Permission to levitate.
Exactly.
Levitate.
Yeah, everybody does, because that's where we come from. That's how people get. A lot of my paintings had, people levitating, right? And I was like, what is up with the levitation thing? You know what I mean? Like, why is this so? And then I realized, when I started to study astral projection, I realized that's how, when you look into Robert Monroe's work, the Journey series of books, that's how we get travel in the astral plane, right? And so I think it's just my affinity for the astral plane, even though we come from beyond that, beyond the causal and whatnot. So
right now, at this time, like we're here in 2015, what's your take on this?
Okay.
Is there anything that we need to do, or is it really just about being present and sharing and being there for others, for ourselves, sharing this love, sharing this light? Or is there something else, like there's some real action steps to take that we could take?
So
you're like, bring it on, sister!
chomping at the bit. So when I had a vision last year when I was studying this stuff. As a brother here in town, his name is Luis Monero, that just published a book called Demystifying the Out-of-Body Experience. It's a textbook, a 7-chapter textbook on how to go out of your body, and chapter 4 is the how-to, and 5, 6, and 7 is the what the heck, right? What's really going on here? And in reading that work, I was actually in the middle of reading Robert Monroe's books. And I had this vision. The vision was that when a critical mass of us begin to astral project, and thus having direct access to the ultimate reality, right, without the filters of the world, that will begin the heaven on earth thing, because there are certain things in this world, all the stuff that sucks will not be able to be here. We will not be able to continue in that vein, because energetically we won't be in harmony with that. Energetically, we won't be able to stand that. Like there's certain music.
I like what you're saying. Yes, yes.
Right.
Yes.
There's certain musics and uh, um, things like war and suffering and that kind of stuff. It won't be able to be continued. Like this income inequality that's going on in the world, where you have like Africa and India suffering, where you have people that are just being gluttons. That will not be able to happen, because people will be realizing that I am you or me. Whatever happens to you is happening to me. I feel it. It's like when you see somebody smoking a cigarette and you feel it in your lungs. That will not be able to happen. Greed will not be able to happen. One of the things that I do when I'm not here is for the past 30 years or so, I've been going to rainbow gatherings all over the world. I've actually helped scout for them and organize them, or what we call focalize them, all over the world. And
We've got the big guys over, not the big guys, the small guys.
yeah, really.
We've got some helicopters, but I guess come here, David. You just keep
Okay.
You're going towards the beach, towards the light.
Towards the light.
Yeah.
Come back. So, yeah, really. So, a rainbow gathering is like setting up a temporary eco village in the middle of nowhere with a full infrastructure. The whole thing is free. No one's in charge, and it's all run by consensus council and initiative, right? And I've actually been to rainbow gatherings in France and Europe, and the European gathering's been going on for like 30 years or more. And I helped to start scouting for the world gathering scene, which is now going on all over the world. And that is the whole focus of that. It started here in the States in 1972. For there to be a silent prayer for world peace on our 4th of July, right, from dawn until noon, and so the silence is broken at noon by a children's parade, and then there's a big party afterwards and everything. But to build, in the States, which is where the largest rainbow gathering happens, there you can get 10 to 20, 30,000 people to come, and to build the infrastructure for that takes a couple of weeks, so everybody's hanging out in the woods for a couple of weeks, building that infrastructure in the same way that the world has been building the infrastructure for our recorded history for the 7.29 billion souls that are here now, So like when I ask as a student of history, like why did World War I happen? Why did World War II have to happen? Why did, the Industrial Revolution have to happen? It was because, there's a lot of atrocities and things that happened there, right? A lot of agreements were made and broken through all of that, a lot of suffering. But the result is that you have this influx you have this moment where you have the opportunity to have so many souls incarnate, right? There is a program, and it's obvious that there's a program, and that program is a program of redemption, so that ultimately no one will be here that doesn't actually choose to be here consciously, right? That's where we are moving to. And when we get to that place, then it will be heaven on earth.
Okay. And how is that related to what you just said before about just space traveling?
Space traveling.
Well, just astral projection, and just connecting to the Mother Earth grid and all of these stuff. Like, how is that related? Because you said it was kind of a way for us to live that, to connect in this way, and then the what's happening on Earth would change. So I thought that was an interesting thought too.
So it's really simple. When you go out of your body with full lucidity, 100% lucidity, you have direct access to the ultimate reality. Okay, you can remain in the astral planes. You can explore the astral planes. You can go to the causal planes if you wish, or you could go even beyond that. You can travel anywhere in the universe, and return, and remember. and bring back that awareness.
So that's it. That's in the bringing back that awareness.
Right, returning to consciousness with that awareness, because we do it all the time right now.
Bringing back information, ideas, and a vibration
Exactly.
that is much higher.
Exactly. Higher relative to, and what we're talking. I try not to use the term higher, because what we're really talking
The separation.
No. What we're really talking about is a spectrum of density. Okay. Being in the physical universe and even in the astral planes and the causal planes, these and the places that are even more dense than the earth plane, these are all density planes, right? Consciousness is without density, right? That's where we come from, okay?
That feels good.
It does. And so, but what we're engaged in here, I mean, density is not to be vilified in any way. That's one of the things I learned last summer. When I was actually teaching a workshop at the Rainbow Gathering last summer in Utah on astral projection and lucid dreaming and all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I learned by trying to explain what this is to people, there were like 50 people there, you know, and it went on. It went on for well into the night.
I can imagine, David.
Amazing. It was amazing. It was like, oh, I was up here, you know. But
come on, guys.
yeah, really. But it was amazing, because people were sharing what their experiences were, you know. So one of the things is density. Okay, now density is it's really what I kind of look at it this way. There's these two things. There's density and there's lucidity. Okay, lucidity is consciousness. You want 100% consciousness. You want 100% lucidity. You want to go out of your body with 100% lucidity, right? You want to return to your body with 100% lucidity, right? Density is the challenge, right? You know, there's this thing where they created this habitat, a closed system for to simulate a space mission, right? In this closed habitat, people were sealed up in there for 2 years, and there inside of this there were these little microclimates, you know, little forest here, a little desert scene there, and everything.
Called 2.0. There's something
like that, right?
And there was another name and 2.0.
Right. And so what ended up happening is that a year into the experiment, the trees started to fall over inside of this dome, right? And they finally figured out that the reason why the trees fell over was because they forgot to program in the wind, right? Because wind helps the trees grow evenly and grow strong and grow healthy roots.
Okay, we got the message, David, didn't we?
I love that, because it says everything about resistance and the role that density plays. One of the things that I learned in this study was that people use density as ballast.
What is ballast?
Ballast is like the weights that a diver puts on in order to maintain even buoyancy, okay? Because none of us. Have you ever met anybody that's actually here on Earth?
What do you mean by that?
Like, nobody's really here, because we're all up in here.
Right? True. Yes.
Right. Because this is a spacesuit, but it's not home. Yeah. Right? It is as close to home as we can get and still be on the planet. But for most of us, we spend so much of our time. We spend a third of our lives out of our bodies.
Probably a lot more.
Right. So if you
just look at the sleeping.
That's what I'm saying. If you live to be 81, 82 years old, you will just live 30,000 days, right? That means that you spend 10,000 of your days out of your body.
So you better learn how to do it consciously, okay, my co-creators? Exactly. Oh my God, we're out of battery, David. I think this is the end of this, and we'll have to come back all the way. Oh, this was great. Thank you so much.
Is this the hugging part?
This is the hugging part. Thank you. Big kiss to all of you juicy co-creators. We love you.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this beautiful video. And if you want to meet, you come back here, because if you want to meet David, he's right here in Venice Beach. What is the crossroad?
Well, I'm not always in the same spot, but you can go to my website, davidalexanderenglish.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on what is it?
Instagram.
Instagram at David Alexander English and all that.
Yes.
So
And your books are only available here, or they're also online?
they're available on Amazon and they're available through my website.
So we should search your name. We'll find a lot, and I'll have my little banner on there with your name anyway. I'll put a little banner on there with it, so all the Juicy Cookers can find you, and you have a YouTube. So
I have a YouTube channel. I think it's David Alexander English or DA English or something like that. But I do this show that I stopped
Live.
doing for you called,
thank you.
David's live art show, live streaming art show, something like that. Yeah.
We'll put all of that information under the video.
And it's on Facebook.
Facebook. Big kisses, Juicy Co-creators. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.